obviously you've had to wait quite some time to get your first taste of the Challenge Cup with Leeds. Just give us a sense of what the Challenge Cup means to you, first of all, if you could.
Yeah, a lot. I remember a couple of experiences here as a kid, with my dad coaching at Hull and then at Bradford, and what it means to the competition and to the people over here was sort of embedded in me as a young kid. And going to Wembley in '96 when Bradford were playing there was a phenomenal experience that I still hold very close to my heart. So to be competing to get there is a privilege and something that I've always looked forward to being able to do.
Your dad didn't get the result, did he? Sadly, that day. What do you remember specifically about that whole experience?
Oh, the build up, the trip down there, the day of the game, and the vibe and the energy around Wembley, and then obviously that was I'm pretty sure it was a high scoring game. They didn't get the result, but it was a great contest, great energy and great atmosphere. Certainly like nothing that you get in Australia, that's for sure. So yeah, very special day, even though the result didn't go the way for the family.
How old would you have been then?
I was 15.
15, so quite a formative age, really. Did you feel sort of inspired at that time by the occasion?
No, it wasn't too long after that I started thinking about coaching. I was probably sort of 16, 17. Where I started thinking about coaching more than playing, even though I was still having a game myself. But yeah, those experiences are something that I've always, aspired to be part of.
Your uncle obviously has won it multiple times. Have you ever spoken to him about what it takes to win the trophy?
I've spoken to him a bit about it a few times. Funnily, probably after. I've spoken to Tony about big games in general and the willingness to put everything out there to take the reward. You've got to be able to deal with the downside of it as well. So it's all there's a big risk to it, but there's a great reward and a great opportunity on the end of it. So trying to aspire to that opportunity at the end, but there's so much work that goes into getting anywhere near Wembley, and obviously it's definitely one game at a time.
The risk seems to be people saying that you can't fight on two fronts in this day and age, which some clubs have disproved that. But to that end, what priority do Leeds put on the cup this year?
Massive priority. It's every week is an important game, and the start of the year, everyone wants to be competing in the big games at Old Trafford and at Wembley. So we're very hungry to get out there and do our best against, obviously playing against one of the premier teams in the competition to get started is a great challenge.
And people will wonder what effect last week's result will have on this week's cup fixture. What are your thoughts in that direction?
I'll tell you at 4:30 on Saturday, or my answer now would be, it's not going to have any bearing other than we got a good look at each other. But I think it's one of those games that's very easy to move on from because it was unique. Not too many games, anything like that I've seen before. So quite an east game to move on from.
What sort of selection issues are you possibly pondering then ahead of Saturday?
Yeah, we've got a healthy-ish squad. We're not missing too many, and obviously James Bentley was out with a concussion, and Zane was suspended. So there's a couple of forced changes there. But some other guys have been performing well in training. So we've also got Caesar back in the mix. So there's a couple of things to work out there, but so we're sort of back to first choice spine at least.
And is James McDonald good to possibly come back potentially?
Yeah, Macca will be back. Yep.
And it's a big game for other reasons as well. It's going to be in front of the BBC cameras on Saturday. Does that bring a pressure in itself to show a wider audience what Leeds are all about?
I think it's an opportunity for the game as much as just for the Rhinos, but for both us and for Wigan to put on a good show. And Leeds and Wigan have great history and no more than even last week. It's a memorable game in lots of ways last week, and if we can put on some kind of memorable performance for the neutral supporter out there, or the people that are new to rugby league, that's important. But to get out there and compete and scrap and find a way to win a Challenge Cup game is the priority. And if it's entertaining, then that's a bonus.
And as unique as last week's fixture was, do you try and do something slightly different to keep Wigan guessing, having played them sort of only last week?
We've got a few different sort of methods of asking questions of the opposition, but last week we fumbled around in the first half, and then in the second half we managed to complete a few sets and build a little bit of pressure. And to be fair, a few things went our way also, but the energy and the spirit that they showed is that's important in every game you play. So getting that part right, ideally from the first minute, and then seeing how long we can go for.
Just quickly on James Bentley, there was a picture of him wearing like some sort of knee leg brace on his Instagram a couple of days ago. Is there any further injury beyond just a concussion, or is that just a precaution, or maybe even an old photo? I don't know.
Very precautionary. Had he have not been following the concussion protocol, he wouldn't have been wearing a brace.
Okay. Just on Zane, he looked, naturally disappointed after he got the red card. I know he spoke quite openly about sorting out his discipline. I don't think he'd had a charge for like 11 months before then. How has he responded to what happened, and obviously the ban that he's got?
He's responded well. He's got on working hard and playing his part in the team preparing for the weekend. Clearly disappointed at the moment it happened, and then disappointed again to be suspended. But that's the decision that was made. So he's copped it on the chin, and he's just trying to move forward.
Slightly delayed question. So I know the coaches' meeting was a while back now. I think you alluded to the fact that it was coming up, and you may ask some questions. Did you get the answers that you wanted during that meeting? Was it sort of what you had hoped it would be, the outcome?
Regarding, there was lots of things that came up in the coaches' meeting that weren't specific to refereeing and adjudication. If that's sort of the reference to the question, I think you're probably better off contacting RFL to get comment about whatever came of that meeting.
I just asked you about Sam Lissone. Obviously, his partner's announced she's going back to the Gold Coast to the Titans, later this month. Have you spoken to him about that? And has he assured the club that he's happy here and planning to see out his contract?
Yeah, Sam's committed to Leeds. Nothing's changed there. Georgia's got a great opportunity, I believe, in a growing, expanding competition that's the premier competition for ladies in the world. So that's about as far as much as I know. But I do know Sam is very committed towards his long-term future here at the Rhinos.
How do you feel he's been going? He's made an impact in the last few games, hasn't he?
I think his form's been pretty steady for a good period of time now. He's certainly had some impact. He's contributed well amongst a middle unit that's been, solid-ish, but something that we're looking for a bit more from that middle unit moving forward, and another great opportunity to do that this weekend.
Yeah. Do you think he's a player that's got more? There's more to come from him individually? Yeah,
I think so. We had that conversation this morning, actually, that I think he's had impact, and he's making himself a presence, but there's more there as well, which I think there is with a bunch of our guys steady away, but we're looking for a bit more than that.
And just on the squad, is Aidan Caesar, has he got a good chance of coming back this week? I think it's been about a month he's been out.
Yeah, he'll be back this week.
Is that why Jack Sinfield's not in the squad, or is Jack still going through the concussion protocol?
Yeah, Jack's going through the concussion protocol, and he's also doing his exams as well this week. So, or the next couple of weeks. So we'll be taking a cautious approach there and making sure he's getting the best of everything that he needs.
Sam Walters has reportedly joined Wigan for next season. Is that something you're in a position to confirm?
We made Sam a really strong offer, long-term offer, a massive upgrade on his previous contract. And that's where the conversation sort of came to an end. I'm not sure where he's going to end up.
But you're resigned to him moving on at the end of the year?
That's where it is at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do to change his mind. Is he quite set on that?
That's something you'd have to take up with Sam and his management.
No, fair enough. In terms of the other guys who are off contract, like James Bentley, Blake Austin, Aidan Caesar, are those talks ongoing? Is anything settled there?
Nothing settled. Those conversations will continue to happen, and when there's an update, there'll be an update.
Yeah, just one from me. There's been a rumour that the club's interested in signing Mason Lena. I think Mark Applegarth said that he knows nothing about it. Is there any interest from your end? I've
not had a conversation with Mason or his management. I did say hello to Mason after we played Wakefield, but that's the extent of it. He's a good player. I've known Mason a long time, but there has been zero communication as far as a contract goes, to my knowledge.
In terms of your halfbacks, because obviously both Aidan and Blake are off contracts at the end of the year, are you any closer on sort of settling what you're going to be doing with that position moving forward?
The recruitment and retention is an ongoing daily conversation, and plenty of decisions to be made as we go.